Hey everyone, this is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology. Today we're going to do horoscopes for all 12 signs, looking at Mercury's opposition to Jupiter. This is the third time that Mercury has opposed Jupiter through its retrograde cycle. So we had Mercury in Sagittarius opposing Jupiter Gemini in direct motion, then in retrograde motion, then in direct motion, now again for the final time. This is an interesting combination because they're both in the signs of their detriments. They're in each other's signs, which means they're also in mutual reception. So it's a form of mutual reception by detriment and opposition. And we have talked about this at length over the course of the past month, as this aspect, again, has come through several times already. So today, we're going to do horoscopes for all 12 signs and give you a sense of what these two planets might be talking about or discussing based on your birth chart and the whole sign house topics they're activating in your birth charts. I figure this would be a good thing to do because horoscopes are also quite popular, and we, as you know, are trying to rally last-minute support for the Kickstarter campaign. So anyway, before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe, share your comments and reflections. Transcripts of any of these daily talks can be found on the website, which is nightlightastrology.com. Now, with just about, at this time, let's see, about 5 more days to go, just 5 more days to go in our Kickstarter campaign until December 31st. We still need the support of about 1,000 backers at the time that I am making this introduction video. And so thank you to everybody, the over 900 who have already pitched in. We couldn't have gotten this far without you, and we still need a huge push of support in these final days to try and reach our goal. And so at the end of today's video, I will tell you about the rewards that are available when you support the channel, but you can make your way over to the Kickstarter and donate if you haven't yet already by clicking on the link at the top of the comment section, pinned to the top in the description of this video, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com, click on the 2025 Kickstarter link. Go over there, pitch in. Every single contribution helps. It is a one-time contribution. It's taken out on January 1st after the Kickstarter's been successfully completed. And you can choose a reward if you'd like. We have lots of exclusive content and astrology on all of the major events in Astrology of 2025 talk that I give, my book in audio and text form before it comes out in print form, year ahead horoscope readings for all signs. That is about 8 hours worth of content on the year ahead. Then we have tons of classes. All of our classes are on sale. I'll tell you about all of those things again at the end of today's video. So, yeah, we were really trying to rally the last minute support. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow morning on Friday morning, doing a Q&A and some live birth chart readings to try and drum up last minute support. I think we can get there, but we need a huge push here at the end. And every single contribution helps. What I like to ask people at this point is just, is this a part of your life? Is this channel a meaningful, solid, good part of your life? Does it contribute something positive to your life? If so, consider giving $5 or $10, $15, or picking a reward and getting a gift for a larger contribution, or even coming and studying with us and getting a class pass or a bundle of class passes. Every single contribution helps us, is part of how I support myself and my family, a staff of 11 people, including a full-time social media manager who is absolutely integral to the production of this channel year-round. And all of our programs and reading services that are rooted in affordability and accessibility for people of all backgrounds. A lot of people benefit from this Kickstarter in terms of being able to take advantage of our need-based tuition. We use this Kickstarter as a sale for our programs, and that takes away the need for us to have a bottom line, which in turn allows us to have price points that are accessible for lots of different people from different backgrounds. It's a big part of our mission here at Nightlight. So if you value this channel and it gives something good to your life, continue supporting us in this year ahead and consider pitching in and donating. So thank you so much. I'll be pounding the drum, ringing the bell between now and New Year's Eve as much as I can to see if we can't cross the finish line. I think we can get there, but we do need a lot of help here at the end. All right, I hope you will enjoy these horoscopes today, taking a look at what Mercury and Jupiter have to say to each other across this very interesting opposition with mutual reception. Bye. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We're looking at Mercury opposite Jupiter. So first I'm going to lay out the timeline, show you a little bit about the dignity exchange again, just kind of refresh on it. And then we're going to talk about what Mercury and Jupiter might be exchanging right now across the house axis that they are traveling through. And we're going to do that for all 12 whole signs. So you could listen to this for your sun or rising sign horoscope, and hopefully in doing this, we'll be able to locate some of the topics that are being activated and the specific types of exchanges that Mercury and Jupiter may be signifying for us right now. Okay, let's put this up on the real-time clock, first of all. And we are going to start by just pointing out the timeline. Now, this transit has been in the works for a while. Let's go back through its history just briefly. So, if we go all the way back to the very first exchange, which happened in direct motion, that exchange took place between November 17th and 18th. Right about that time, Mercury and Jupiter were opposing one another across Gemini and Sagittarius. Now remember, Mercury's in its detriment, Jupiter's in its detriment. They're in each other's signs. They are in mutual reception by detriment and opposition. That is a very interesting configuration that we have looked at for the last month on this channel numerous times. Let's pull this forward now, and we're going to look at Mercury stationing and turning retrograde around November 26th into the 27th. Mercury's retrogradation takes it back through the square to Jupiter between December 3rd and 4th. So that was the second opposition that we had. You could track these along a timeline if you got a good memory or if you've been observing the movements of this transit over the past month on my channel. And then finally, we see them coming together today, Thursday, December 26th. So this transit, you will have been probably feeling this transit from about Monday, December 23rd, all the way through Christmas, and now perfecting today, Thursday, December 26th. Give it a 3-degree range of separation. Going to be feeling it through about Sunday. So this exchange is important because Jupiter is also in a square with Saturn. We've talked about that at length, the paradigmatic shift denoted by the Jupiter-Saturn square, and Mercury participating through the mutable T-square, kind of activating and stimulating this exchange between Jupiter and Saturn. So it's been a really interesting dynamic that Mercury has played a really important role in the midst of a kind of an era-shifting transit like Jupiter-Saturn. So, excuse me, what I like to look at when you have a dog, occasionally you're just like, I have a dog hair in my mouth. That's great. So anyway, we go back just a little bit here. We'll back it up to Thursday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this through all 12 whole sign house horoscopes. You listen to this for your sun or rising, your moon if you wanted to as well. And we're going to ask the question, what might Jupiter and Mercury be exchanging? I ask the question, what might they be exchanging? Because when they are in mutual reception by detriment and opposition, it is as though they have something to give each other, provide each other with, and yet they may be doing so through some inherent tensions or oppositions. It's as though two people who have very different ideas about something are being forced to cooperate and do something for one another despite their differences. It is as though a dialectical is taking place, or a kind of conversation about differing values or ideas. So how do they exchange? What do they exchange? That is the question that we're going to look at across all 12 whole sign horoscopes today. Now, you're going to notice that some of these are basically repeating when we get to the opposite sign. So when we get to Libra, you'll notice that it's similar to Aries because we're just flipping the houses, but the exchanges are in some ways identical. So keep that in mind. And let me just set myself up here. All right. Okay. All right, let's start. We're going to start with Aries and we'll work our way through. So with Aries, we're looking at the exchange between the 9th house and the 3rd house. These two houses together, when we have Mercury and Jupiter exchanging across them in this kind of dialectical tension, can represent different kinds of ideas that are conflicting and also seeking some kind of resolution, a conversation about differing ideas, about different styles of education, almost like different pedagogies or different ways of knowing or learning, different ideological stances, religious or spiritual stances, ethical or moral. When these two houses get together and they have an exchange like this, there is usually a debate or a dialogue happening about different ideas. Or there's tension present within the process of learning or studying something. Or there might be some emphasis placed on travel or having to overcome some kinds of challenging circumstances around travel or traveling. We could also see this about the kinds of teachers and teachings that are ideal, those that challenge us to grow, maybe those that we have to separate ourselves from because they're not quite the right ones. These are the kinds of things that would take place across this house axis. So I want you to think about learning, the environment of the mind, spirituality, philosophy, differing values, and a kind of dialogue with respect to things like education and learning, as well as things like travel. Let's go ahead and move to Taurus. Now we're placing Mercury and Jupiter across the 2nd and 8th house axis, which means the exchange happening between them has to do with things like values and resources, money, assets. When we talk about these two houses, we're talking about the give and take, the karmic exchange that is inherent in all relationships. Every relationship is built on love, intimacy, and also in exchange. I give you this, I help you learn this, you give me this, you help me learn something as well. So we act as mirrors for each other, we act as catalysts for each other's growth, and we also have different karmic contracts that exist between us, and there's a give and take. This might be about the exchange of money, values, bills, debts, inheritance, things that we get from other people, things that we give to other people. Could also be about shifts or changes around what we have or are in possession of, as well as what kinds of karmic contracts we are obligated to and how those contracts are shifting or how we're fulfilling them or how we are shifting the nature or details of various contracts in our lives. So I would look for this to be about the exchange of values, money, resources, and things like that. Now, it could be that there's a real chapter change happening with respect to money or finances as well, and it has to do with some kind of redistribution of how money is managed or how wealth is developed or earned or something like that. Now, for Geminis, we're placing this across your 1st and 7th house, which makes this all about relational exchange. This is about exchanges between two souls. This is about exchanges in interpersonal dynamics. In your relationships, what do people give to you of a soul value? What do you give to others of a soul value? How are you being asked to change and accommodate or grow in relation to who someone is and what they bring to the table, and vice versa? We could also look at this as conflicts of mind, value, approach to life, philosophy that are taking place, different difficult conversations, tensions within relationships that are being mediated and resolved, an openness and a willingness to compromise and work through someone else's, kind of walk a mile in someone else's shoes. This is also about just inherent questions about who you are and what you stand for and what you value and how that may compare or contrast to other people in your life. These are the kinds of tensions I would watch for, and remaining open-minded, but also standing your ground, being flexible, being diplomatic, but also being clear about what your values are. These are the kinds of tensions you're holding right now as a Gemini. If we move along into the sign of Cancer, these planets go across the 6th and 12th houses. It could be that there are, one of the things that happens across these houses when Jupiter enters them is we kind of reconcile ourselves to the nature of difficult things, to the reality of difficult things like hard work or sickness or the reality of obstacles and difficulties in life. There's a way in which we find the ability to move fluidly or to adapt and move with difficult or trying times or circumstances. And this could be something that's really existential and almost like about your faith. Like, how do you deal with the difficulties in your life? Or how do you meet or move through obstacles and challenges? And do you keep the faith? Does it cause you to doubt? Do you have to rethink things in your life somehow because of the challenges that are coming up? This is also about understanding unconscious dynamics and your beliefs and ideals and values with respect to things that suddenly you're starting to understand that maybe you didn't before. The 12th house Jupiter can be about a growth in wisdom and understanding that comes because we're starting to see things and connect patterns that we weren't previously able to see or connect. The other thing I like about these two houses is that learning and studying things that are otherworldly, that are earned through hard work and determination and dedication and sort of rolling with, with the hardships of life. And that kind of, the school of hard knocks spiritually comes to mind, where there's certain things in life you can't learn through anything else but the grind and difficulty of life and just sort of sticking with it. I also look at this as a time to reflect on teachers and teachings that are meaningful to you and that help you find that courage and resolve to make it through difficult times. Like, what are the most inspiring people or teachers in your life right now? What are the kinds of teachings and lessons that are most applicable to helping you get through something or to stick with something hard that you want to do but is hard to stick with? Anything good usually requires a kind of staying power. How are you developing or cultivating that right now? I also look at this as an opportunity to reflect on unconscious dynamics within your belief systems. Sometimes there's things that we believe or think, and we get opportunities to reflect on them and go, do I really think that? Do I really believe that? Is that really where I am still? Or have I grown or changed in some way? These are things that come to my mind right now for Cancers. Going forward to the Leo rising or Leo sun, if you're listening, for the sun sign, we have the exchange happening across the 11th and the 5th. I like this as an exchange of people and creative ideas. The right creative ideas that come from us will inevitably need to find the right kind of people that are conducive to, feeling like we're being ourselves, feeling like we are in our own authentic creative essence. The wrong people will often make us feel as though we have to hide or we can't quite show exactly who we are creatively. As a unique creative being, we may feel that we have to hide our light and sort of conform in various ways in order to get ahead or to make sure that we, kind of progress in our career or whatever the case may be. There's ways in which we have to conform and sort of hide our light. This exchange to me is in part for Leos about how much of you should show and how much of you, it's like the dimmer switch. Do you have to develop a little bit of a dimmer switch capacity so that you can build and connect with the right kinds of people and develop positive community and relationships around you, which in the end may be the best thing you could possibly do for the development of your creativity and your own gifts? Or on the other hand, has there been too much compromise, too much hiding of yourself? And does more of your creative spark, does more of it need to be released? You need to sort of reveal more of who you are. These kinds of tensions between personal creative essence and collective social belonging are in a kind of dialogue and exchange with each other. This is also maybe about those things that fill you with joy and the people that are the right fit. It's like, where do I feel happy and who are the right people to feel happy with? And also values and exchanges of values and differing or clashing values within groups or communities or the social dimension of your life. Do you feel free to express your own ideas and values? Or do you feel like the various groups and social or organizations that you belong to, the professional circles that you belong to, do you feel as though there's an expectation that you toe a certain line and that you can't really reveal what you think? These are the kinds of tensions, again, that I would watch for. Let's move along now to Virgo rising. And we see the tension between Mercury and Jupiter across the 4th and the 10th. Excuse me. So these two are exchanging across the houses of home and family, as well as vocation or occupation. I imagine here that the exchange that's happening might be between the inner sphere or private sphere of your life and the more public or visible part of your life. The 10th house can be career and the 4th house can be home and family. There could be just tensions between home, family, and career. That's a very basic way of putting it. But if you think about the 10th as a social sphere of life and the 4th as the private, internal, or family or home sphere of life, we're also talking about the various pressures and tensions that you may feel from without and from within. You could also be looking at the way that you face the world and the public face that you present versus the private face that you present. And the tensions between the two could have you really going, am I being authentic? Am I really saying what I think and feel? Am I adapting socially to fit in and hiding my true thoughts? Also, tensions between your ideas and those of other family members, or the direction you're taking in life professionally or creatively, and maybe the feelings or values of family members. Different kinds of ideological or philosophical tensions between yourself and people at work or people at home could also be present during this transit. And you could also see that there's a great exchange taking place, that there's an openness to different people, different walks of life, different people coming from different parts of the world, different home bases, different cultures, different roots, and your own, and some kind of meaningful dialogue happening between the two, or tensions between the two as well. All right, let's move along to Libra. For Libra, we're back in the 3rd and the 9th, right? So same thing we started off with Aries. We're now talking about, again, exchanges, kind of classic exchanges of ideas and thoughts and learning and education, teachers and teaching, and the potential for conflicts as well as resolution or mediation of conflicts through a kind of open-mindedness or a willingness to listen and hear what someone else has to say. There is a maybe flip-flopping of ideas or points of view. Maybe you're considering something that you used to be opposed to. Excuse me, my allergies are really bad today. Or maybe you are in some ways just in a space where there are like really important conversations going on, and the tensions in those conversations, though they may not be easy to hold, it's critical that you have these conversations rather than hide or run from them. There's something about this that says, look, even if you have very different ideas, a willingness and openness to listen, to consider, to kind of step into a position that's opposite to your own could be really beneficial right now. Also, just the emphasis on travel and education, solving problems related to travel, challenges or changes surrounding a educational environment, teachers, the kinds of exchanges that you're having with teachers or mentors, or that you're having with students if you're a teacher. All of these things come to my mind for Libras. All right, let's move ahead to Scorpio. So for Scorpios, we're looking at this exchange across the 2nd and 8th houses. Across these two houses, like the Taurus horoscope, we're now looking at an exchange around money, goods, values, and the karmic exchanges or sort of soul contracts that we're in. So in what ways am I obligated to you and you to me? Emotionally, financially, spiritually, energetically? In what ways do I bless your life and what ways do you bless mine? So those soul contracts and the exchanges and values that are present in them, and some of the tensions that are present in the give and take of our relationships, the beneficial things that come in through relationships, the way we remain dependent upon them, the way others remain dependent upon us, the need to extricate ourselves from things that are not healthy in these karmic exchanges, as well as the need to find things that are beneficial and to maybe find enough flexibility to live with things that are not perfectly ideal. Most karmic exchanges that are maybe very valuable for us are going to come with some things that we just don't fully love. All relationships are like that. So what level or degree of compromise is necessary within a series of value exchanges happening in relationships, or maybe even also just a shift around things like money, possessions, and resources? All right. And now with Sagittarius, we're back in the same sphere we were with Gemini, which is about a conversation, a kind of dialectical within interpersonal relationships. Who am I and how am I changing based on what you bring to the table? And how are you changing based on what I bring to the table? How much should I compromise something of myself for the sake of this relationship? How much should the other person compromise for the sake of the relationship? How much can I forgive and tolerate and understand, even though it may reflect something that's very different than my own point of view? And how am I also being asked to look at how something that exists as a tension can be lived with? I mean, sometimes we think if there's any tension, screw it. If this person isn't my friend, they're my enemy. So black and white. Is there a middle ground somehow that we can carve out in relationships so that differences can exist but be beneficial for us? These are the kinds of questions coming up right now, and there's not just one answer to them, but certainly the tension between Mercury and Jupiter across the 1st and the 7th brings it up with respect to who am I and who am I in relationship to you? Capricorns. Capricorn, you go just like Cancer across the 12th and the 6th. I like to think of this as a crisis of faith and questions about the existence of difficult things and how I am being enlightened or illuminated from within because of the reality of difficult things that I'm being asked to face and look at, compromises that I'm being asked to make because of difficult circumstances that have arisen that maybe have shifted things so that the perfect thing I wanted or was hoping for maybe isn't quite possible, but that doesn't mean that everything is lost. And to what degree can I resign myself to the fact that reality is sometimes frustrating and not completely ideal? And if I can somehow open myself to something that is of value in the midst of something difficult, then I may stand to benefit and grow and be illuminated. This exchange could also speak to positive, interesting approaches to difficult things, whether those are things within yourself and you find a therapist or a healing modality that works, or whether those are difficult relationships and you're finding a valuable conversation that can be had, even if it's difficult, that can actually help you sort things out. We could also be looking at the philosophies surrounding work and how we deal with the pressures and daily difficulties of life, and maybe some positive philosophies, teachings, instructions, modalities, technologies that can be used to help us alleviate some of the work and difficulty of day-to-day life. I also like this as a place where we can take a little bit of distance from the world and maybe reflect on where we're at. Sometimes that 12th house Mercury is good for just taking a break and stepping outside and gaining some perspective. All right, we go forward to Aquarius and we see, just like Leo, across the 11th and the 5th, an exchange of social and creative energies. The creative essence of who we are, if it is stifled, if it is hidden, if it is suppressed, will make us sick. On the other hand, if we don't have the capacity to adapt socially and to know when to hold them, how does that song go? Know when to hold them and know when to fold them. When you know when to show yourself and when to adapt. When you know when to step out on a limb and say something that doesn't necessarily align with the group or with a greater social reality. And when you know exactly the right time to adapt and compromise and go along with a group, because we need groups, we need collectives, we need allies, we need friends, we need community, but we also need to be an individual within one. How are those tensions being held and addressed right now for you Aquarians? The same as Leos. So I think that this is also probably for Aquarians something to do with interpersonal relationships, since Mars is also retrograde in your 7th house. Exchanges of values, conflicts of values and ideas within groups and within your own sort of creative inner world, those are the things coming into the picture right now, kind of a tension between those things. Also, if you're a parent, sometimes for both Leos and Aquarians, the conversation about social adaptation and your child's own creative essence and how to foster both, it's a real tough question for parents, and that might be highlighted right now for both Aquarians and Leos. Finally, we have Pisces, same as Virgo, across the 10th and the 4th. Now, these two places bring up, again, the inner and the outer. And you have to wonder, with Saturn in the 1st house simultaneously, right, and the Jupiter-Saturn square showing itself through the 1st and the 4th, what comes to my mind is questions about, kind of being at a crossroads around defining who you are and trying to bridge the gap between the social world you inhabit, or the professional world you inhabit, and the private life you live, or the home space you occupy, or the realities of your home and family life and your upbringing and your ancestry and where you come from, and then your identity and your social role in the world, your vocation or the workplace. There are tensions being worked out between these two places that are very existential, very personal, rooted in questions about identity for Pisceans. The value exchange between Mercury and Jupiter could also be about different kinds of ideological or philosophical tensions that are present in the workplace or at home in the family, that are also calling into question, identity. Who am I? Am I the way that I show up out in the world? Or am I more rooted or connected to my private life or my home or my family? How do I bridge those two worlds together? Questions like this may be of very deep importance right now for Pisceans. Again, given especially that Saturn's in your 1st house, kind of finishing its work in this year ahead. Okay, well, I think we've gotten through the major tensions between opposite houses today, and this should give you some good ideas about how to locate that Mercury-Jupiter opposition and the kinds of exchanges represented by that mutual reception and detriment and in opposition. So I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I hope you had a nice Christmas if you were celebrating. Look, we have only just a few days, less than a week left in our Kickstarter. We still have a long way to go. We need a lot of support here. I'm really kind of pounding the drum, like, help us. We need to get there. We still need a lot of support to come. Thank you to everybody who's already donated. If you haven't yet, please consider supporting us. We have a ton of really cool things available, like exclusive content, all of our classes majorly on sale. So stick around after I sign off. I'm going to tell you about the rewards that are available when you support the channel and help us finish strong. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around. I'm going to tell you about the different rewards that we offer when you donate and support our channel in the year ahead. So you'll find the link to the Kickstarter in the description of this video, in the comments section of this video, as well as on our website, nightlightastrology.com. If you head over there, you'll see at the top of the page there is a menu item that says Kickstarter 2025. You can click on that and be taken over to the Kickstarter campaign page. So once you're there, if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you're going to see different pledge levels and different gifts and sales that we run as a way of saying thank you for your support. So among those, our most popular offering by far are the major discounts that we offer on our training programs. So if you are interested in studying astrology at Nightlight in 2025, whether you're a brand new student or a currently enrolled student who's thinking of taking one of our year 2, 3 horary programs, you're going to find that these are the best rates that we run on the entire year. And we do this as a way of both saying thank you and also of helping us raise funds to support the channel, our staff, and everything we do. So you'll see attend one Nightlight course there. That's about 50% off the total cost of the program and about $500 off the early bird rate. And then you'll scroll down and you'll see that if you bundle 2 courses together, the savings go way up. Bundle 3, they go up even more. I mean, the difference between the 2 and 3 class package is $200. So $200 more, you get 3 of our year-long programs. And if you get all the way to the 4 class pass, then you have all 4 years of our program. You can take them at any pace you like, renew them whenever you like. There's no timeline on when you use these class passes. And you will have all 4 years of content at about 75% off each of the programs individually when you get that bundle. So those are our best savings for sure. Highly recommend those. If you have any questions about our courses or programs, email us info@nightlightastrology.com or look at the website under the classes page, courses page. You'll find information about each of the individual courses we offer. And then if you scroll up, you're going to find some of our other programs that are greatly discounted. Ashley's Herbal Foundations apprenticeship course, which many people are interested in who come through our Moon Circle that Ashley and I lead each month. You scroll up, you're going to find our Masterclass series for 2025, greatly discounted, as well as our Roots and Spheres Moon Circle, greatly discounted. There's hundreds of dollars of savings in each of those. So we really try to make sure that the Kickstarter acts as a good flash sale for all of our programs. You'll then find some really nice prices on previous archive talks, like our 2024 archive masterclass bundle, which is about 30 hours worth of content on specialized topics in astrology. You can see the topics listed in each of the bundles as you scroll through. 2023's masterclass bundle, huge savings on those and a lot of really great content. You'll see a few reading options as you continue to go from the bottom to the top. You'll see the 2025 year ahead mini reading. There's only 30 of these. These are individualized birth chart readings that I do, looking at the most significant transit in your birth chart for 2025. I record those personally. You'll then see that there is an Ask 3 Horary Questions option where you can get 3 horary questions to redeem whenever you'd like within the year ahead. Those are kind of yes, no predictive questions. Will I get the job? Will we get together? Things like that. Then you'll see the Astrology for Complete Beginners course is also discounted through the Kickstarter. This is a great 10 hours worth of content for people who are brand new to astrology. So whether that's you or maybe a gift for somebody else. And then you're going to see some individual master classes that are greatly discounted from the past year. So all of 2024's masterclass series are the archives of which 8 to 10 hours each are on sale. And then scroll up a little bit more and you'll see one of our most popular offerings, which are the year ahead horoscope readings. These year ahead horoscope readings include 30 to 45 minutes of a breakdown of all the major transits of the year ahead for each sun and rising signs. You get all of them with this package, which is a great deal. It's like 10 hours worth of content, 8, 9, 10 hours, somewhere in there. I haven't finished recording all of them yet. So as of the time I'm recording this, I'm anticipating it'll land around 10 hours. But yeah, anyway, so you scroll up, you'll see those horoscope videos will all be delivered to you right around January 1st when the Kickstarter ends. Scroll up a little bit more, you'll find The Oracle Speaks, which is my book, and this is being released chapter by chapter. It is a book about the inner experience of learning to speak with oracles, and it is being released chapter by chapter in both text and audiobook form, so you can listen along to my new book. And that takes us up to the Astrology of 2025 video. This, for your donation at the $50 level, gives you an exclusive talk breaking down all of the major astrological transits of 2025. I look in depth at some of the biggest things happening in the year ahead and break them down in advance. And that's the only place I release that video or that take on the whole year ahead. Finally, at the very top, the most basic level of donation, you'll see the Astrology of 2025 calendar. This is a PDF calendar we design and make that allows you to track and move along with the astrology as the year unfolds. This is also great if you want to track what we're going to be talking about week by week on my channel. You'll get a glimpse at the biggest transits of each day and month and week. And that will give you some sense of where we're heading with our coverage of the astrology on the channel as the year unfolds. So again, any questions about any of the rewards that you see, email us info@nightlightastrology. Link is in the description, comments, or on the website, nightlightastrology.com. Help us get to 1,937 backers by January 1st. We deeply appreciate your contribution. We try to make sure we have some really special rewards to say thank you when you contribute. All right, take it easy. Bye.